Now we'll talk about educating yourself. One of Pugsy's alpha strategies is to educate yourself. And that doesn't mean going to university, it just means make yourself better at your job, or make a job, or learn a new skill, or do something to better yourself. And now with the internet, it is, well, you've got online education for everything. And that was actually one of my, not a downfall, but something that was very expensive. I was buying courses, most of them probably average about $1,000 a piece. And half the time I never finished them. And I must admit, of all the courses I've bought, I don't think I've ever made back the cost of investing in the course. Now, I can't blame that on the course. I could probably blame that on myself. Not being diligent enough, or not hanging in there long enough, or whatever. But I always tried to learn new skills. I was quite impressed with MOOCs, those massive open online courses. When they first come out, they were pretty cheap, but now you pay a monthly subsidy and you actually get a certificate for everything you do, as long as you finish. When they were free, I used to do heaps of them, and I progressed on to doing courses and that sort of stuff. And the things I wanted to learn, I couldn't, or I just ran out of energy, or just didn't have the brain power for it, because this technology stuff's a bit difficult for people my age. I'm learning better. Anyway, in the end, now, if I'm learning a new skill, or I want to learn anything new, instead of going out and buying a course and having it sitting on the hard drive, and a lot of the courses I've lost in my computers because they crashed, now I just do the Kindle regime. I race into Kindle, because Kindle's starting to get more expensive now, but before it was very cheap. And you could look up any book, and you could grab 3 books to start. I'd say I wouldn't get more than that, just in case you didn't like it. And you have a read away, and you can learn a new skill very easily. And a lot of the skills are designed like learn one skill at a time, like learning, say, example, making videos, advertising videos. That was a rage a while back, and I wanted to learn it, but I was technically incapable. But doing something like that, I must admit, you need the internet. That is a skill that you could actually make money out of, as long as you got good at it, and you could sell your products or sell yourself as a producer. That's the biggest problem, is you can learn the skill, but the letdown part is not selling yourself as a producer on some of these sites like guru.com and that, where you set up a profile and hopefully you can get hits, get jobs. That's a new economy, they reckon, but you've got to work at it, and it's not easy doing anything like that. But back to the educating yourself side first. Even before you go into Kindle, I used to get on the sites, any site I could find that I was interested in, and I'd read all the sites and get all their free literature, and read it up. And that would give you an advantage, give you a good start. And that way I'd know if I wanted to keep going. And I did that with prepping and the survival stuff. But at the moment I haven't done any courses on that because of the financial situation, which is my fault for spending too much money on courses that I don't need, or never actually attempted to finish. So I reckon I've actually, in a lot of the stuff I have learned from Google, from Kindle, and the free stuff, I've actually got a return of my on investment, believe it or not, which I never have from doing the courses. The courses are very good. I won't say they're not good. They are good. But the big lacking problem is I have to do a course on how to turn myself into a businessman. And that's the one I need. That's the course you should be doing first, how to market yourself. It's no use learning the skill if you can't market yourself to actually use it. And that was the problem. So I'm working on that one at the moment, and if I can actually survive that, then I'll be able to do something on the internet. But one thing I do recommend, which I should have done years ago when I first started on the internet, about 20 years ago when it first came out, is get an email list together. Even though I've heard words that email marketing is dead, it has actually come back. As one of my fave gurus actually said that he's gone back to email marketing or using email because it works. But he tried all the others, and he's gone back to email marketing after many years. When I think he first brought out email is dead. That was a big slogan on the internet, for probably 10 years ago now, but it's starting to come back, and I can see why. So if you are thinking of, even if you're not thinking of an internet business, because you might have to in the future as long as the internet's still around and electricity is there to pay for it, to get the internet up, but that's the biggest worry at the moment, the electricity, price of electricity. But you need an email list. Doesn't matter what job you're in, as long as you can get an email list together, like start now. If you're still at school, just get an email list together. And by the time you're ready to make money, you've got the list. As they say, the money is in the list. But then another one of these 80-20 rule they always talk about from before the internet and with the internet is 80% of your income comes from 20% of your customers. So you need to keep getting the list up and running. Just make sure you have a list. That's my biggest problem. I've had lists in the past and computers have crashed, and I should have been more vigilant, and as they say, you should put your list, you should actually have your list in hard copy off your disk, off your computer in case it crashes. That's how important it is. Maybe I should have listened to some of the gurus out there instead of just getting blindly going ahead. And a lot of the gurus that are still around that I was following years ago, they're still around and have made millions in the process, and I haven't made anything. But that's education. You need it because change is so fast now, and if you learn something off the internet, the chances of it being obsolete or being superseded in probably less than 6 months is very real. So if you're going to learn a new skill or something on the internet, just expect it not to last. So if you're going to buy a course, the idea is to start the course and use it. And the latest course I brought was on how to use AI. Well, that's nearly obsolete now. I only bought it a couple of months ago. And all these new programs, I'm learning more from articles coming out about AI than I did from the course, because the course it just didn't keep up. And that's the problem with the internet and with AI. We don't even know where it's going, but it's affecting everything we do on the internet and off. And now I'm using it more, and I use it for translation. I don't use it for writing things, but I use it for translation. I do it for checking things are written. But the big one's translation, and doing even marketing. When I do my marketing bits, the AI can do them better than me. I do one copywriting piece, and I think, oh, that's pretty good, and then I run it through the AI, and he does it 20 times better. Oh, no, it's make it 3 or 4 times better. But because he's got what the AI's got, the computer mind, the universal mind, the mind of all the information on the internet. But even now, I'm waiting for them to censor that thing like everything else is being censored. But we'll wait and see on that. So one of the strategies of Pugsy's Alpha Strategies book is education. I must admit, when you read the book, the first probably 2/3 of the book is about the situation. He's an economist, so he's talking about how to learn economics. He simplified it pretty good. And what's wrong with the system we have in place now, even though the book was written in the 1980s, it's quite relevant, and it's probably more relevant today because of the supply chain hiccups, which he actually mentioned in the book, and problems with hoarding, which he calls it stock picking and not hoarding, and everything he said about how people react to stock pickers or hoarders has actually happened here. Now hoarding has gone off because the supply chain, I don't know what happened, the supply chains come back, or people went shopping again, actually get in the supermarket without standing in a line. But the price of everything is going up, and that inflation thing is still in here. And I'm looking at some of the things I bought last year, and some of them were actually a third higher. And the big thing was the toilet paper, the big rush on toilet paper, which I don't know why, but it took off when COVID started. Everyone was buying packets of toilet paper. Well, it's a good idea they did, because now the price of the toilet paper, I'm actually convinced the one I used to buy is over doubled in price just since the COVID rush on toilet paper. And even though the price of some things, like I stocked up on coffee because I love coffee, addicted to caffeine, and even though the international price of coffee has dropped, I think it's around 40%, the price on the supermarket shelf hasn't dropped very much at all. I was getting organic beans before they went $26 a kg. That's for organic beans. Well, they went up to $32 a kg, and now they're back to $30 a kg, and they just come back. And yet the coffee price was actually influenced by the weather, which is this global warming coming in. But in this case, it was global cooling, because the frost destroyed the crop, or parts of the crop in Brazil. And the guy I was talking to from Miramar, he said the same thing. They were putting furnaces in the coffee fields like they do in the grapes, or they used to do in the vineyards for the grapes, and they were trying to just keep the frost off the beans. And that's all passed, but the price went up, but it didn't come all the way back, and the gap must be the inflation, or the price of petrol has gone stupid. So I do actually still recommend any excess cash you got, stock picking, get into stock picking. And as Pugsy, if you read Pugsy, he says buy what you need, buy the things you use every day, as long as you have problems with stuff going off. As though I had problems with rats, and I started mainly on food, but you got to be careful with food, because I got 2 freezers and 2 fridges, and my next problem is the power goes off, we're in the garbage. There goes the big party for the neighbourhood. We eat the romaine. We'll go to the bottom of the chest freezer for the first time in about 5 years. And that's the only problem with chest freezers. You keep putting the stuff on the top and using it, which is not good. But that's more at the moment. That's what I'm actually getting into. But I might have to buy a generator or something, because I'm very worried about this electricity thing, because the price of electricity is going up, and at the moment no one said anything about electricity going off, but there must be a point where it does if the price keeps going up, especially the price of oil. The price of fossil fuels are causing all these problems. Well, not all the problems, but a lot of them, and that is probably the number one driving of the food prices, is the oil prices gone ballistic and goes up and down like a yo-yo, but the price at the supermarket doesn't go up and down. It goes up but not down too much. And also, when you're putting all the money in the tank, it's less disposable income to play around with, and that's where, if you want to learn something new, I still recommend just finding as much free stuff as you can, and then heading over to Kindle. And I'm very impressed with Kindle, getting the books, because they are cheap. The difference between a Kindle book and a hardcover, softcover, even a hardcover, is incredible. So you can actually make the money on the Kindle book, or save the money on the Kindle book, as long as you read it. And I've always found it's easier I learn more by reading than I do from videos. It's because I can always go back and reread it because I'm always doing that. So if you're learning skill is, especially us older people that can read, have been reading most of our lives. I learned by reading, whereas a lot of the younger generation probably learn by video, because that's what that's the internet now, it's all video. And all video advertising, but the video advertising is getting better and better. But at the moment I don't really know what to learn. I'm still trying to learn. I think the main product is learning to sell yourself, market yourself, and get you so you can get up on and get out in front of people. So that's the biggest problem. You can learn something off this internet. You can do it properly, but you got to sell yourself to sell it. And I think that was my downfall of all the courses I bought were all making things. It's easy to make the thing. This AI thing is easy to make. It makes everything amazingly easy. But still the limiting factor, this weakest link in the chain, is actually selling yourself, getting it together, getting a site up, or even if you don't need a website, get a Vix site. I use Vix. And then you have to sell yourself, or even start selling yourself as soon as you can. Get the internet, get the email list together. And there are a lot of courses coming out now on doing email lists, on getting email lists together, which was something the internet didn't have for a number of years. But I can see why, because I can't see Facebook advertising. I can't do that, even though I did a course on it. Some people do it well. I don't know how to do it. So I still reckon I was brought up under the email generation, and I'll go back to that. As I think it's still not, it is the future, but as long as the internet stays up, email marketing is it. Whereas I think Facebook is all news, or just, I don't know, I can't get my head wrapped around Facebook at the moment. I hardly ever use it. Okay, so just remember, you need to update your skills, because nowadays the skill sets don't last very long. The internet has changed everything. They've made it all nice and fast. Things come and go rapidly on the internet. And you have to, if you're going to learn a new skill, expect it not to last long. So you've got to it's this lifelong learning is taken on new meanings. A new meaning now with the internet, because the speed of change is increased dramatically. And now with AI in the mix, it's going to speed it up even more. I'm still trying to work out which part of the AI to learn that you can sell yourself on. And that's, you have to actually, if you learn a new skill, you got to you got to monetize it and turn it into money. And that was where my downfall is at the moment. So if you can start learning how to sell yourself, how to write a good description on these sites, on these job sites, so you can pick up work, and learn how to get into the market. That's the biggest problem. That's the first skill, is how to get into the market, as opposed to learning a new skill. It's how to sell the skill, or how to sell yourself first. If you learn that way you'll put yourself up there, not with the gurus, but you start monetizing, you start making back the money you've spent on all the courses. So, and with the internet, education is a lot cheaper. Well, it's free, but it's the stages. The free stuff is good. I mean, there's a lot of free stuff out there on any course you want to do, and some of it's ridiculous, but a lot of it is there. Then there's the next stage, is the Kindle ebook, which is cheap, and you can actually pick and choose which one you want. And then the next one up's the course. But some of these masterclass courses, where they have 30, 40 speakers over a weekend or over a week, and you get a different person a day, and you got a day to watch the stuff. Very interesting. I must admit, I've learnt more from those courses, individual speakers for 40 minutes to an hour. But one of the things I do use is OBS, Open Broadcasting Studio or something. And the screen capture video on that is amazing. And I've set it up so I'm going to watch any video where I learn something. I'll stick that on, and I'll record the video. It saves buying the masterclass. But then again, some of them are so good that I have bought the masterclass after the fact, and they're still reasonably. Masterclasses are reasonably cheap. They're cheaper than a course, and you got many different people saying there a little bit, but there are a lot of them are trying to sell themselves, but there are a few out there that are saying what they did. They're not selling themselves because they've already made it, and they just tell them how they did it, and they actually go through it quite in detail, and all you have to do is go and do it there. Well, that's what they say. Don't reinvent the wheel, just redo it. And in a lot of those cases, you will. Now, the best ones I've had are the master classes, where I've actually learned a fair bit from the individual speakers, as opposed to the speakers that go up there and just want to sell you something or sell you their marketing method. But the best ones are the people who just go over what they did and how they did it, and you can learn a lot. Okay, I'll leave it there. Thank you.